Yo, peace. Peace, Earth. Peace, Earth. My name is Michael J. Turner. I am the Southwest Shaman. This is StereoPix 888. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being where you are, which is right here, which is where you're at. And my glowing orb is about to shut off, so give me uno momento. It's not even an orb, it's a cylinder, right? Plug it in, you know how we doing. Alright. Still catching a little light off that thing right there. Fuck it. Right, it don't matter. Anyway, keeping it raw and uncut for you. For your dome piece. Thank you for being you. Listen up, I got a story to tell. Listen up, I got a story to tell. Who is I and who am I? Who is him? Who is he? Who the hell am I? You don't know me yet. You're about to. Watch this video. The gem of YouTube content creation is a why and a source, a motivation and a source. My why is to help myself so I can help others. My source is my life and what I'm doing in my life that's allowing my abstract personal development. It's abstract because it's different from everybody else's, as yours would be to mine. Each person's personal development is different from the next. Mine has been unique to me. It has taken more time than others. Some people got their thing in action when they were 18 or younger even. On some real deal. Holy pill. Look, man, or woman, I love all y'all. Took me a long time to get here though, but I never really harbored hate in my heart. So this is it. As an example of source material, I have come to call myself the Southwest Shaman because I've realized now that I'm answering a calling from this is and it's knowledge from my past self. I'm being led by my higher self to discover this, but I wasn't ready until now, until this year. I had to go through what I went through, but you know what's crazy, man, and I want to give props to the Wu-Tang Clan because the seeds were kind of planted by them, honest to God, back when I was in high school. I didn't know what I was listening to. I thought it sounded cool, but there's a way deeper meaning, and this is what I realized with art, you know, video, music, doing these things. It always speaks to two sides, my conscious mind and my subconscious mind. As in, I give you the tips for YouTube. I give you the tips. I tell you, optimize your details, optimize your titles, but at the same time, I'm speaking to your subconscious mind. See that back there? That's a picture, that's a symbol. It's someone's in a seated position, but it's displaying the chakras. You might not have noticed it. You may have, you may have not. Regardless, it's probably gonna be in here, in there, somewhere, tinkering around, floating around, just like every other advertisement or thing that we see when we move through the world. I digress. I want to give you the real deal, holy bill, raw dog deal of who I am and what this is about and why I'm really doing this. This is it. Roll your sleeves up. Roll your sleeves up. So, It all started in 1986. I'm born of a diverse background. My mother is English and Croatian. My father was Bolivian, Native American, Egyptian, black, and white. Now, see, the terms black and white are very vague, and I've also come to understand now that there really is no such thing as race. We're all tan to different degrees. There's no one that is this color. And I mean, I guess that there was at one time perhaps people this color, but they were from another. Anyway, that's some whole nother thing. The idea is that, yes, there's a lot to it. Where we come from, why we are as diverse as we are as people, but we're all citizens of the planet Earth. And I see me and you. I am you and you are me. Even if you're an unfavorable individual, that's still a reflection of me. And it's still teaching me something. So I love you too. I love you, dog. I love you, sis. So, that being said, my life, what played out as such with that diversity, but as you can see, my complexion is lighter, so, and my appearance is also that of, maybe you might not associate me with being black. But here it is, y'all. I am the Trick Baby. Iceberg Slim novel, yo. A black man who looked white. You see the thumbnail for this video? You see the thumbnail? That's a picture of my father. You might have thought maybe that was actually me in my past life, but it was, basically. See, okay, so let's move forward. I have two brothers that are from a different father, same mother. My childhood, although it was excellent and I was raised with love and I had both parents all the way till age 19, there was a lot of fear there because of circumstantial fear, situations that made me scared as a kid, as a baby, and that had to do with things that were outside of my... I have come now to understand relationships because of my own experience. So, to anyone who's judging their parents, judge yourself first. I had to judge myself, man, and then look back and say they were just being people going through what they were going through. No one knows until they know, and then most of the time we still don't know. So, but whatever. It created the trauma and the PTSD that was there already before I even get into the sauce. Okay? So, high school comes, middle school comes, my dad starts to not be present as much because he's bucking up in his own way. Doing what he, as a person, just being a person really, and making some poor choices. At one point he went to jail for like a summer, and it was like, honest to God, I feel like that is what set the stage for his departure later, only a few years later. And he went to jail because of a mistake. He tried to pull some slick shit and do something illegal that on like some civil type shit, and excuse my language, but it was his own family that caused him the internal pain, I think, that he carried that really eventually led to his death. I'll get into that. Basically, so I'm in high school, I started smoking weed, I found hip-hop, You know, my brother, I was influenced by my brother. I wanted to emulate the middle brother, right? The older brother was not really present due to his upbringing and how that went. He wasn't present, matter of fact. I have only a few memories of him. So, my middle brother influenced me. You know, I started smoking weed. Highly influenced by my friends in high school, you know, and I didn't have too many of them, to be honest, but like that grew later or whatever. But regardless, I went out of my way to do individualistic things. I remember wearing this crazy jumpsuit to school. It was like cheetah print, or wearing like a pair of sunglasses with one thing on, or a handcuff on one arm. And I was placed as most unique in high school in the yearbook as a senior. But my individuality was being expressed powerfully. But I didn't have the guidance. And that's not... I can't say like, oh, my father be mad about that or anything. He was just being him and going through his life. And you know what I'm saying? So, regardless, I needed the guidance. So, I didn't have like any relationships in high school until like as a senior. I had like one relationship as an 8th grader or something, and then one relationship as a senior, and they were very short-lived and very awkward and strange due to my lack of understanding and being exposed to pornography already. Having been exposed to pornography in like middle school, that gave me a totally warped and twisted understanding of women and what sex was and how it was supposed to be and love and all that stuff, man. That was like the first. That's why when I really look back, what was the first drug? What was the first drug? Porn. Huh. Before I smoked, drank, any of that stuff. The fucking world got me with sex. Yeah. So that's why to this day I say, I can tell people that what's my base trigger? Porn and sex and shit, man. If I let myself go there. That's why it took me so long to get here, but I'm here, y'all. I'm here now. So going through high school, I'm making good time on this right now. Going through high school, no real relationship, whatever. End of the senior year, kind of got heartbroken a little bit, whatever. Fuck it, I ain't tripping at all. On some real shit. I was more into smoking weed and doing music. That was it, and that was good. And if I had just like embraced that fully, but with the training and understanding that I needed, because I didn't have that discipline and training I needed. So when I tried to enter that world and enter the world as an 18-year-old or whatever, I was following the world. I wasn't following myself. I was following the world, and I ended up involved in like a neighborhood clique. And you know what I'm saying? I didn't start drinking till the end of high school, because I couldn't hang. I was too much of a stoner. But I kept at it. I kept at it and kept at it and kept at it and kept working at it until I could hang. And by that time, I was a fucking fish, drinking like a fish. But anyway, 18, doing my thing. I moved out. I ended up coming back home, but you know, and I got kicked out of the spot I was at because I was smoking bud and I blew up the spot. Management was like, you guys to go. It was a small apartment complex. Management was like, you guys to go. Okay, so I came back home. I'm kicking it with this neighborhood clique. Basically, all the black people in Sunny Slope, which at the time was only a few. And I want to say rest in peace to my main man, Graylin Willis Jr. I didn't know who I was, really. I was trying to find myself, man, but the day when I got shot, right here, okay, I mean, there's no teeth. My teeth are missing a lot, great in part due to the drug use, but this is where the bullet stayed. Okay. I was doing something. I was just looking to retrieve a magazine that day, bouncing around from house to house. A gang, the A Street gang, which is a subdivision of LCM here in Phoenix, Arizona. They saw us, me and my friend Graylin was, and we were in a drive-through liquor store. And I'm gonna go ahead and get detailed with this because it's time, man. It's time for me to put this out into the world. And this happened in 2006. This happened in 2006. I was 19 years old. I already had I was lacking some guidance, and I was in the trauma from childhood of this and that. Grew up great though, don't get me wrong. Great childhood, both parents, man. Never had like a want or need, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't fulfilled. Beautiful. Still turned out to be trying to be a little thug and shit. And I want to say that had, honest to God, to be completely honest, it had a lot to do with hip hop. And my parents tried to take away my music, I remember in 8th grade, and not let me listen to rap. And you know, they didn't know why they were doing that, but that was kind of why, because it shaped my mind, it warped my mind, and then that started to shape my reality, and I allowed it to, because I wanted to emulate certain things, and beyond that, but more so than hip hop, I allowed the world to influence me, and I allowed my friends and people around me to influence me and be my identity. Come here, Mickey. Right, so as that happened, one day and we had been doing our thing. We had been doing some dumb stuff here and there, you know what I'm saying? As a group, as a neighborhood clique. I mean, there were times when I had all sorts of guns in the car, and definitely didn't need that action. So it was the element was being brought upon me, but I didn't really know it. I knew I was putting myself in harm's way in dangerous circumstances, but I thought we were all just kind of trying to front, really, more so, And so that day, they saw us in the drive-thru liquor store. And they followed us. They were trying to get us there. They followed us. We went one way, and they went another way. And I'm parked outside of an apartment complex trying to drop off Graylin. And they were coming forward towards me, and I'm parked. So, like, they're basically a car length away. They stopped, and they started shooting at my car, into my vehicle. And by the time I looked, I was hit. And I didn't really understand what happened. I just felt the impact, like, And a bullet had basically gone through the side mirror and the window, and went in, and I was sitting like this in the, I'm saying, boy, you're working out, shit. Sitting in the seat, and the bullet flew through and hit me right here, and it went under my tongue, into my neck right here, and stayed right here. And I was slumped on the steering wheel. And bullets had gone through my vehicle too, absolutely, completely through, all the way through, in and out. Alright, so G Will managed to escape. Thought I was dead. I wake up, come to rather, and I hit my hand on the reverse shifter. On the shifter, I remember, and I hit it in reverse, and I went, and the car made that noise like a RC vehicle, like an RC toy. And I went up on the curb, boom, backward, boom, boom. And I remember looking for my phone, couldn't find my phone, feeling like, oh my God, is this happening? Is this really happening? Like, this is surreal. This can't be real. This can't be actually happening. I look in the mirror, and there's a hole here, and blood starts coming out the hole. Blood starts coming out my mouth. I start to panic. Like, this can't, oh my God, this is really happening. Like, and I can still relive it now to this day. Obviously, I made it because I'm here. Don't worry, the story goes on. Obviously, I made it. So, blood is just pouring out my mouth. I start, something in my head says, just drive. Because I was at 14th Street in Mountain View in Sunny Slope, and I knew that I could make it to John C. Lincoln Hospital. Or there was a chance. I had to do something, so fuck it. What do I got to lose? Sit here and bleed and die. Now that I even considered all that, but this is when the first time I learned about the power of adrenaline and what our superpower as humans, man. One of the superpowers. So I start driving, and I'm going into oncoming traffic. It's a 2-lane street and all this shit. And people are seeing me, and I hit a left on a red light. Bam, I hit a left on the 7th Street. A cop starts following me. To the presence of God, man. I took a right that I had no idea whether it would lead there or not, and it took me right to the fucking emergency room pull-up at John C. Lincoln Hospital at Central and Dunlap. Peace and love to them. Thank you for saving my life in 2006 as a 19-year-old. I pulled up, jumped out, blood on the ground, running in. I said, I'm shot. They came at me, wheelchair behind me, got me, took me into the emergency room, lifted me up on the table, laid me down, started cutting my shirt open, and I remember saying, I'm not a gangbanger, because I saw the cop pull in, and then I remember saying, somebody called my job, I'm not going to make it Monday. And they were like, stop talking. Now, I'm gone. I wake up, or I fall asleep, I'm blacked out, whatever. I wake up in ICU. A friend of mine is standing over me. He says, you look beautiful. My whole face was swollen huge, man. I couldn't talk. My whole, you know what I'm saying? Like, this was crazy. Couldn't speak. I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to rap again. And that's what I thought about, of course. At first. That's what those things I thought about. And it wasn't until, and I got up and walked around in ICU, like, and saw people, I saw a man in a full body cast in that situation, and I was like, man, I'm lucky, I'm so fortunate, I'm good, I'm walking around, I'm straight. I indicated no pain to them. I didn't receive painkillers from that. You would have thought I would have. I had a bullet in my neck still when I left the hospital because access hadn't cleared, like they hadn't cleared to get the dough for the surgery yet. Bullet still in my neck, yo. Chilling. You can see it. So I go back to work and everything, man, like after I healed up. But when I went home, it took me about a couple weeks, right? Crazy, right? 19-year-old, fucking shot in the face, head swollen, bullet still in the neck. Went home, far away from where that shit happened in Sunny Slope. Went to Tullison, staying at my parents' crib. It wasn't until my good friend, brought me some weed that reality hit me about what had happened. I'll never forget her. Peace to Katrina Gadwood for that. She's still out. She's still around. She's doing her thing. She's good. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, I'll always have love for you for this one. For that one. Reality hit me. I cried, yo. I realized what the hell happened. Like, I cried. I had to eat Jello, and I couldn't eat solid food for a while. After some time, the first solid thing I ate was a fucking McNugget, so it's kind of crazy. But anyway, so, and I remember forcing myself to go talk to a chick, and my face all fucked up, like trying to just push myself through those things. And that's how my life would always be. Like, I would be faced with this shit, and I'm the master of forcing myself to do things. I can do this, and at times it takes a little more effort than others. And sometimes I'm like, F it, I don't even do some things. But, like, I can believe that if I had to walk on coals, I'd muster it up and fuck myself up and do it. If it came down to it, life and death, what you gonna do? You gonna drive yourself to the hospital, or you gonna sit there and die? That's why I learned, man, the power I have within me to survive, and the power of adrenaline, and how it like slows down time when like stuff like this happens. It slows down time, and you get to make a choice, you get to make a decision. And in that period of time when adrenaline's got shit slowed down, a choice gets made, and it's life and death. And I've experienced this multiple times in my life. And this video is getting a little long, and I want y'all to want more. So I'm not gonna keep on going with this, but I'm gonna wrap up this story. This is just like the beginning of my saga. So I'm in the hospital. I talked to my friend Graylin, man, and he said they were out there trying to retaliate for me. And I'm like, look, dog, I don't even know who these people were. I can't even put a face to them. How could I be mad at anybody I don't even know? How could I feel this? What are you doing? What are you guys doing? Sure enough, short period of time later, one of our friends, you know, John THiZZ was his name. John THiZZ. THiZZ. He was a ghetto type. I can honestly say this was a ghetto cat, because he was the type of cat that always try to get the most out of you if you let them. But he ain't mad at you if you say no. That's how that shit works in the streets, yo. That's kind of like a summation of the streets in a way. Like, it's an understanding. I approach you, you approach me. If you let me get you, I'll let me get. If you let me get you, that's cool. If I let you get me, that's what's up, because it's on me and it's on the other man. But understand that man might be trying to get up over on you. Gotta be on game. So like, don't be mad if it happens. They ain't gonna be mad if you say no. But because it starts with the motherfucker just asking for a mile. And if you say yes, and then you're mad about it afterwards because you agreed, they don't care. But they also don't care if you say no. They're still gonna be your friend. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But this man died, man. He got shot in the eye on 12th Street and Dunlap, or 12th Street and Hatcher type area. Basically, right over same distance I was from the hospital. And he didn't make it because he wasn't in a vehicle. He wasn't able to get there. The ambulance took 15 minutes from over there, from where it is. I mean, if you know Phoenix and you know the distance, it's a very short distance. That's why I lived. I made it because I was able to drive there, but it's short. Look at that. Come on. So, John THiZZ, man, rest in peace. And also, Graylin, rest in peace. He ain't died that day. That's another story, man. That's a whole another chapter that happened years later. But my father would die of leukemia, would pass on from leukemia like 2 months later after this incident. So I was dealing with my own thing, trying to push that aside, and his thing comes along. I'm trying to push that aside to be strong and try to do whatever I thought I needed to do. I don't know what I needed to do, but I didn't deal with it at the time. When that shit happened, my brother moved in with us. Like I said, half brother. I was actually, it's my mother and I. We were gonna live in a small patio home, and my brother, he wasn't able. You know, he needed some help or whatever, so he came back home, and we ended up living in the same room. Now, it was a 19-year-old and a 23-year-old or something like that, together in the same room. I couldn't take it, man, so I ended up moving out. Unresolved trauma and things like that were just all up on me, and I just said, I can't, I'm gone. Went out, and I said, I'm going to go ahead and begin my, like I was ready, begin my, my walk. I wasn't ready, man. I just lost my father. I lost the guiding. I lost a part of myself. All these things. You know, I was shot. What could my mom tell me? She blamed herself for what ensued later. But like, what could you tell a young man as a woman? But yo, before I sign off on this, I just want to say, stress the importance of women, man, and how they actually are the leaders, you know, in a way, in a major way. Like, shit, I don't have a problem placing a woman in a leadership position as long as she is able to check her emotions, because that's what their superpower. A woman's superpower is her emotions. So have your superpower in check, ladies. And I love my mom, you know. And but yeah, I'm here today because of my ability to react and respond rather than just freeze and do nothing. And also because I know I have a purpose that's being fulfilled now. It took a while. I still had a lot more training to go after that, but that's why it happened. So here I am. And I got nothing but love. It took me, and I'm still working on myself. That's why I call this abstract personal development. But yeah, that day I lost 2 pints of blood. Or more, whatever. That's what I still have the hospital report to this day. Bullet was removed later in an outpatient situation. I pulled up. They localized my neck, put a curtain over my face. I felt them remove it. Tink, you know, I left the hospital. Never was asleep or none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It was boom, boom, and they numbed my neck out, took it out. Wild, right? I wanted to keep it. They kept it as evidence. I should have pursued getting that, but I didn't. It's okay. It ended up being like a jagged ball that was like about this. Let's see if you can get it in the right light here. Yep, about that big, I'd say. Jagged and all, like a piece of gravel kind of was like, or a rock or whatever, like all up in, bam. And that shit had traveled through, yo. It was essentially, it was a part of the bullet, I want to say, because it had hit the mirror and the glass first, and then it hit my face. So like, but regardless, it was a bullet, and I got shot. Like there's no way to like get around that, or in my mind, this is for me, because I've actually tried to downplay it in my head a lot for years. I mean, and especially since I've what do you got? What choice did I have but to move on from it? But like, to even try to be like, yo, oh, you just got hit with something. No, it was a bullet, and the motherfucker was shooting at me. So yeah. Yeah, so yeah, here I am, y'all, and John C. Lincoln Hospital saved me, and that's this is the beginning of my story, but I'm gonna hit y'all with that. This is the source, yo. My source, my why is help myself so I can help others. Let's do this YouTube thing, man. Let's get it popping. Let's commune. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it to it. I thought you already knew it. Peace, family.